Hello, I'm Teresa. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me here today. Today is one of those use your prints videos. I keep getting asked what do I do with all the prints that I've got. Well, this is a great way of using up those either whole prints, offcuts of prints, prints that you're not too happy with, prints that you just didn't know what to do with. I'm going to make some lovely coordinating greetings cards and gift tags. I've done them with everyday themes, as you can see here. You could easily do these and turn them into Christmas cards if you wanted to. And because you're using what you've got, very minimal expense to create these. So if you're looking for something to take to a craft fair or for crafty gifts for your friends, this would be absolutely perfect. So I'm going to clear these out of the way and I shall be back to show you how it's done. As always, I'll begin with a quick rundown of the items I'm going to use today. As I say, we're going to make some cards, we're going to make some matching tags. I've dug out a load of prints. That's the basis. Use your prints. I'm sure if you like me and print on a regular basis, you have lots of prints. I'm always being asked what can I do with them. So I've got a pile here. These I made in a particular session. I used them for the greetings cards with the vases and the doodle flowers. I know they all coordinate together because they were made using the same sort of set of half a dozen coloured paints, so they should work well together. And I've dug out these other random ones here, which are all done more with brighter colours, so brighter reds, yellows, blues, greens. They should work quite well together. So I've got those. I've got some card blanks. These are approximately sort of 6x4, a US A2 size card blank. I've just got a few of those made from white card. I've also cut myself some pieces, just rectangles of white card that would fit on the front. That's what we're going to be attaching our prints to. So I've got some of those. I've also got myself some tags. Now I've just used a die. This is a really old Sizzix die, this scalloped tag. I like this one. It's just a smaller size. I quite often use a large tag. This is just a nice size for presents. If you don't have a die, that's fine. Just cut yourself a rectangle and then just sort of, if you cut a rectangle and then just cut the two corners to either a point or just cut them so it sort of goes up and across at the top, punch a hole in, you've got a tag. Please don't criticise me for using an old die that is no longer available. I do quite often get comments with like, oh, why have you used that and we can't buy it. Anyone who has got a die cutting machine and dies knows they're not the cheapest things in the world, and unfortunately I'm not going to throw away a die just because it is now discontinued, just to replace it with something that is very similar. So I'm going to continue to use it. It's a fairly generic shape. Search for scalloped tag cutting die if you want to buy something similar, and I'm sure you will find something very similar. I am going to be using a few other cutting dies today to cut out shapes. If you don't have cutting dies, that's absolutely fine. You can print yourself off a template of a shape and then just draw around it and cut it out with a craft knife, a pair of scissors. It will take you a little bit longer, but it's, you know, it's perfectly doable, perfectly feasible, especially if you pick fairly basic shapes. I'm using what I've got, and today I think I'm going to be using things like a leaf shape, a star shape, a heart, maybe a Christmas tree, just to show you a few different ideas. You're going to want some glue. I'm just going to use this Scotch glue stick. It's quite a strong glue stick. I do quite like that. Just buy that off Amazon. Normally buy them in a pack of about 6 or 12, something like that. If you don't want to use that, if you want to use something a little bit stronger, an all-purpose glue, PVA glue, that would be fine. You could use a spray adhesive even if you wanted to. Other than that, I might make a couple more ideas of things that you could do using some more card, but I think this is about it. I think it's time to get started. And the first thing that I need to do is cut my prints into strips. Use a pair of scissors, use a guillotine, paper trimmer, use a craft knife and a ruler, whatever you have to hand. I think I'm just going to use my guillotine. I'm going to cut them into even strips to get ready to start creating our patterned card and tag. So I've cut all my strips. This was my first selection of prints. This is my second collection of prints. I've just cut those to 1/2 inch wide. It doesn't matter that they're all sort of random lengths because I'm going to be trimming them anyway once I've glued them onto my pieces of card. So I'm just going to pop a bit of scrap paper down on my desk here because I don't want to get glue all over the desk. And I'm basically going to begin by popping glue onto my piece of card and then laying my prints across. Now you can choose to go vertically, choose to go horizontally. I'm going to vary it up and do a couple in each way, I think. But before you stick them down, just have a little plan of what you think might look nice. Try and get a bit of variation in the colours and the patterning from the bits of print that you've actually cut. Just have a little play around until you think you're happy with that arrangement. And once you think that you're going to like that arrangement, you can just move them off to one side and glue them in place in that correct order. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to zoom you in a little bit, I think. And start applying my glue. And I'm going to have these just overlapping ever so slightly the edge, because as I say, I can trim this down once I've covered the whole piece. And I'm going to do this for all the pieces of card that I've got here. So I'm just going to probably speed it up, and I'll come back to you once I've done that.
Summer is ended, the leaves are turning brown, red and yellow, soon they'll be falling down. Now.
Once the glue is dry, just trim them down. As you can see, I've trimmed all the loose edges off, and I've trimmed them so that they are slightly smaller all around than my card blank, and that just leaves a nice little white border around the edge. So the next thing to do is to decide what shape you want to cut out. And as I say, if you want to print off a couple of basic shapes and cut round them with a knife, you can do that. If you happen to have some cutting dies, then go ahead and use those. And that's what I'm going to do, and I shall be back to show you what they look like. And these are my cutout panels. I've chosen to do a leaf, and I cut 2 leaves out of that one. I like that. And what I've done is cut myself a piece of card the same size as this panel that I can lay behind, so I can have some colour inside those openings, just for a bit of a change. And then we've got the 2 leaves. This one here, which is like a speech bubble, and I'm going to stamp a little sentiment inside there. Thought that might be quite nice. And then we've got the little speech bubble that we can use on our tag. I've cut a heart out. Again, you could either put a little sentiment in there or underneath back it with something else. I might make one of these into a little shaker card with some sequins. And my final one, I've cut out a star shape. I think that one I might make into a shaker card, just because it's sort of a bit of sparkle will go nice with that star. And again, we've got the shapes cut out that we can attach onto our tags. So I'm going to go ahead and get these fixed onto our cards and tags, and I'll show you one, and then I'm just going to, I think, again, speed up the process, because it is a matter of really just sort of gluing and sticking things down. Again, use whatever type of glue that you want to. If you want to use like the 3D foam pads to get some height, you can do that. So for this first one here with the leaves, As I say, I want some colour in the background, so I'm going to stick that down, and then I'm going to stick this on top. Just lining that up over the top of that coloured card. That's our card. We can add a little sentiment to it if we want to. Can choose a couple of tags. So let's see what colour do we think is going to look nice. Quite like that on the lilac, and I think the yellow. So just going to get my little scrap of paper back here. I'm going to pop that on at a bit of an angle, and when it's dry I'm just going to trim off that bit that's overhanging. Same with this yellow one, popping that on at an angle, and again just going to trim that off when it's dry.
I'm not ready, not just yet. I'm not ready for autumn. Autumn comes too soon. Autumn comes too soon. The light that flickers will blow away the sight, and all that blossomed will wither away and die. Not now. I'm not ready, not just yet. I'm not ready.
And here are the finished cards and tags. So I stamped a little sentiment in there. This is an Avery L set of stamps called Speech Bubbles, and she's got some nice little phrases on there. So that says, "Hello, my friend." And the tag that we made, I've just stamped "You are the best" on that. So nice little set there. Next up, we've got the one with the heart, the die cut heart. I've stamped "Make a Wish" in there. And on the tag, "All My Love." Again, same set of stamps. Next up, I've got the leaves that I backed onto this coloured card. I've just left that blank. I didn't feel that it needed a sentiment particularly. And the same with the little gift tags as well. They're just fine as they are. I think they're quite pretty in those nice pastel shades. And finally, the star-shaped one that we created, a little shaker card with this pretty pink posh confetti. I've just used a rub-on. Actually, this is one of the Tim Holtz Ideology remnant rubs. A little rub-on that says "Birthday Wishes." Put that on some white card and then put that on with 3D foam, and another little rub on the tag there that says "Smile." Just pop that on, and again a nice little set to, you know, for a birthday card and a matching present. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this has given you some ideas of how to use those prints, that ever-growing stash of prints that you might have. I really do enjoy this. I mean, I've used a similar technique before by cutting these strips, but it is a real nice way of using up bits and pieces. You might have prints that you're not overly happy with the entire print. Some people say, you know, especially with things like magazine image transfers, and then they don't know quite how to use it. You can always cut them up and use them, you know, the individual little bits with the different colours, the different patterning. It all works really well together to create these nice fun collaged backgrounds. So as always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.
Autumn comes too soon. I'm not ready for autumn. Autumn comes too soon.